Hi everyone, today I'm taking you through my autumn winter coat collection. I think I have 12 coats and jackets to talk you through. Going to be telling you where I bought them, when I bought them, what I think of them, whether I would recommend them or not, how much I paid for them, all that good stuff, and of course showing you them on my body as well. So if you're interested in any of these coats, any of the ones that are still available, hopefully this video will be really helpful to you. Otherwise you may just be a little bit nosy and want to see all of the coats and jackets that I love wearing at this time of year. If you're thinking there are a couple missing from this collection, I do have a smaller, more curated spring-summer coat collection, which I haven't included in this video just because this video is going to be so long as it is. I couldn't really afford to make it any longer. So these are the 12 that made it into my autumn winter capsule. As always, my sizing information, the sizes I took in these coats, and links to any of the coats that are still available to purchase will all be in the description box, so make sure you check that first. But if you have any questions about any of the coats today, anything I might have missed, then feel free to leave those in the comments down below as well. Let's start with suede and leather coats because I have two new to me suede jackets in my collection. I really wanted to add a suede jacket this season. They're obviously really on trend. I love suede generally and I love brown tones, this chocolate brown colour especially. So I really wanted to go vintage for that. I really didn't want to buy one that was new. They're really expensive. I was eyeing one on Massimo Dutti, one on a brand called Del Savoy or something like that. They were both about £400 and I just thought, I know I can go vintage for this. I know it's going to be a really good deal. I know I can get 100% suede. There are also a lot of fast fashion ones that are faux suede at the moment and they're still charging like £100, £150 for them, which I think is kind of crazy. So please don't buy a faux suede jacket this season. If you want the look, go vintage, go secondhand. Vinted, eBay, Depop have some really good options. This one is one I bought on Vinted. This was £45, I believe. And then with the Vinted fee and stuff, it was about £50 total. 100% real suede in a chocolate brown, a really nice fit. It was exactly the fit I was hoping for. Slightly longer, slightly oversized, but not too huge. This is originally from Marks and Spencer's, and my other vintage suede jacket, which I'll show you in a second, is also originally Marks and Spencer's. So I have to say, if you're looking in the UK for vintage suede jackets, Marks and Spencer's is probably a good brand to search. They seem to have done a lot in the past. I think when I say this is vintage, I think this is not that old. I want to say this is in the last 10 to 15 years. It doesn't feel too vintage. But, you know, I don't know what year it's from. But yeah, the label and everything like that doesn't look that old. So I reckon this is from the last 10, 15 years or so. Either way, it's in really, really good condition. There are actually no marks on it. It doesn't feel like it's been worn very much at all. I'm really happy with it. This is a UK 16, so maybe it is a little bit vintage because it definitely doesn't fit, I would say, like a 16. I would say a size 16 probably wouldn't be able to wear this, but fits more like a 14, I would say. But either way, I really like it. It's exactly what I was looking for, and £45, you just can't beat it. This is the second suede coat that I have picked up recently on Vinted. This one is by Autograph by M&S. So it's an M&S line. Again, I don't know how old it is, probably in the last 10 to 15, 20 years or so. This is a size 14 and I would say it fits kind of like a 12-ish, so maybe a slightly vintage 14, but it's 100% suede as well. This one I'm sure had never been worn. There was absolutely no wear to it, no smell, no marks. It felt like in perfect condition, so I couldn't believe my luck that I found two vintage suede jackets in such good condition. I was so happy with it. This was £80, I think. I think it was on for 90. I haggled her down to 80. So with shipping and everything, 85 or something like that. Really good for 100% real suede. It's a trench coat style, so it's a lot more suede as well. It hits kind of mid-calf. It's got buttons. It's got a tie belt as well. I don't love the look of it done up as much as I don't know, it's fine. It just looks like a trench coat done up, but I would probably mostly wear it undone, a little bit more casually, especially in autumn when it isn't too chilly. It's the perfect layer, obviously, when it's not raining. But yeah, I'm really pleased that I found them vintage. Again, I don't feel too precious about them either because I didn't pay huge amounts of money for them. You know, they were both total, what, £120 for two suede jackets. So I can live with that. If they do get rained on, obviously I will look after them, but if they did get rained on or marked or something like that, they're obviously a little bit more high maintenance than other jackets. I'm not going to be totally distraught because they were secondhand, but hopefully they will last in my wardrobe for a lifetime to come. I'm really chuffed. This one is obviously a very, very warm camel shade, which isn't my go-to usually, but I actually quite like the 70s feel of it. Because I have the chocolate brown in the blazer style, I don't mind that this is a warmer brown, something a little bit different. And it reminds me of something Alison Bornstein would wear, I feel like, because she does lean into that 70s style. I feel like she wears warm tones like this quite a lot, so I quite like it for that aspect. But yeah, love it. Can't go wrong with vintage. Moving from suede to leather now. This is the only leather jacket that I own. This one was actually sent to me, so I didn't purchase this myself. And I have to say, I think this retails for about $800. I definitely wouldn't spend $800 on a leather jacket. If I was going to buy my own leather jacket, I would go vintage, I would go secondhand. There are so many out there similar to the suede, and leather's obviously a lot more hard wearing than suede. So you can find some really good vintage leather jackets for really affordable prices, and they're still in really good condition. I do like this one though. It's definitely quite different to my usual style, my usual quite feminine style, but actually when I want to lean into something a little bit cooler, a little bit edgier, this is really nice to have because it just does that to any outfit. This is from Source Unknown, which I don't know much about. They sent me this a while ago, but I think are they a Korean brand? I'm not 100% sure. I will double check and leave them linked down below. They do some really cool pieces, just a small selection of mostly outerwear and bags in leathers and suede. They have a gorgeous suede blazer on there at the moment that I was looking at before I got the vintage ones, but it is almost £1,000. So I'm very, very glad I found the vintage ones instead. They are expensive items, but this does feel really nice quality. But yeah, I wouldn't pay, I'm just being full disclaimer, I wouldn't pay $800 for this personally. I don't know if it's still available, so I'll leave it linked down below. Again, it's a good one to search for secondhand. I feel like they gifted this to some influencers, so you might find them on secondhand sites. Either way, it's a nice leather jacket. It's a size medium. It's real leather. It's got that more biker style to it. It's not quite a moto jacket. It's more like a bomber jacket because it has this stretchy fabric at the bottom. I don't wear it very often, but I'm going to try and wear it more this autumn winter because, again, I like to play up with different personalities, different style aesthetics sometimes, especially when I'm creating content for Instagram and YouTube. So I'll try and style this in a few different ways and see what I think, even though it's not my usual style. The next category of coats we have are trench coats. I have a few of these. Now this one I would technically consider a car coat rather than a trench coat, but it's a similar design and it's a similar heaviness, a similar weight of fabric. So I'm going to lump it in with the trench coats. This is from Soeur Paris. French brand, a brand I've wanted to try for ages, but I bought this on Vinted. This is one of my best Vinted purchases of all time. I'm actually going to do a video in the next few weeks on my all-time best Vinted purchases, some of the amazing deals that I have found on Vinted in the last year or two, including this coat and actually these jeans, which are from Frame, that I got for £15 on Vinted. So yeah, that video is coming up, but anyway, apart from that sidetrack, this is a car coat from Soeur Paris. I bought this from Brittany Bathgate. I've mentioned this already. It was on her Vinted. Brittany is a really, well-known influencer in the kind of minimal Scandi, I would say, aesthetic. And she was selling this newer tags on Vinted for £70. I snapped it up, obviously, because that is amazing. It did still have the tag on it and it did have the price on it. It was €400. I presume she was gifted it, but either way, it was €400. I bought it for 70. Once shipping and the buyer protection fee on Vinted came into it, it was probably £80 total. An absolute bargain, and I absolutely love it. Again, it's that cool chocolate brown colour that I really feel like I was missing in my wardrobe up until this year, and now I have a couple of chocolate brown pieces I'm really happy with. But I love the shape of it as well. I love that it is almost like a trench, but it doesn't have the belt tie. It is more of like a masculine style. It is what I would call like a worsted wool. I don't know if that's the right term. It's a polyester wool blend, but it feels like a really high polyester wool blend. It actually reminds me a little bit of the shape of the new Suzanne Clyde coat that's polyester wool as well. I know that's more of like a felted wool, like the Medarix. This is more of like a, yeah, what I would call like a worsted wool. But either way, this was £70, not 370 that the Clyde is. So I'm so happy that I bought this. Really pleased with it. I've already worn it a lot and I definitely feel like it will be a staple in my wardrobe for a long time to come. This one is a size 34, would you believe? But it definitely is meant to fit oversized because it's still decently oversized on me. I can button it and it feels like, a nice coat fit. The sleeves aren't too short, the shoulders fit nicely. So I think in your true size this would be quite big, but yeah, this is a 34 and it works on me. I think this was from the autumn collection 2023, so it's not too old, but I know they don't sell anymore. If you're interested, maybe look on the second-hand market. I can try and find the name of it because I did find it. the style name if you're interested, if you want to search Vinted, eBay, that kind of thing. I will leave that information in the description box. But yeah, one of my favourites. Next up we have, of course, the Clyde trench coat. This one I bought this year. I bought this in March this year, I believe, in the springtime, and I finally decided on the khaki shade. I've tried this in all of the colours but the black. I've tried it in the camel. I actually used to own the camel and ended up selling it. I've tried the ecru, I've tried the light beige, and this is the khaki. This is my favourite one for the colour, although do you know what? The black one is the only one I've not tried, and actually I've been really drawn to the black one recently. I've been enjoying wearing a little bit more black than usual. I guess the dark gloomy weather may be inspiring me, but either way, I do actually quite like the look of the black, and it's the only one I haven't tried. But the green one is definitely my favourite. The colour is just beautiful. I love this khaki shade for autumn. This feels very autumn winter to me with the tartan lining. The green khaki, I love it. I wear this so much. I've worn this so much, even though, you know, I've had it for what, 6-7 months. But yeah, it's a staple in my wardrobe, and I imagine it will be for a long time. Now this one, the only negative I would say about this one is it does tend to wrinkle and crease, and this is specifically the green khaki one. The others, I believe, are all cotton, 100% cotton. This is the only colour that is a cotton viscose blend, and I wish that wasn't the case because it does definitely wrinkle and get a little bit more creased than I imagined the others would. I mean, I remember owning the camel one, and that one was a little bit thicker, so it tended to wrinkle slightly less. This is definitely thinner. It's not a deal breaker for me. I still obviously love it, but I do kind of wish it was 100% cotton. But other than that, I don't have anything else negative to say about it. I've got mine in a size 40, a UK 12, and I would say that fits nicely. The camel one I had in a 38, and that also fit nicely, so there's not too much difference between sizes. It's definitely meant to fit oversized, long, and I prefer that these days, so I'm really happy with the fit. And it just feels so cozy, so autumnal to me. And I also think this khaki colour, again, works really nicely with burgundy, which I have a lot of in my wardrobe, so I do feel like it matches very nicely with the rest of my wardrobe, which is always helpful as well. I know a lot of you are considering the Clyde coat this season, whether to purchase it or not. I don't regret mine at all. I think actually it's a really good coat. It's one of my favourite pieces from Suzanne, and although I'm not loving Suzanne as much these days, their outerwear, especially their coats, as long as they're, well, I say as long as they're 100% natural fibres. This is cotton viscose, so it's 50-50, but yeah, most of their coats, if they're 100% wool or 100% cotton, I do generally recommend. I do like the quality of this one. The next trench coat in my collection is one of the more fun coats in my wardrobe. This one I purchased right at the beginning of autumn, probably late August actually, and I couldn't resist this when I saw it. It is so me, makes me so happy every time I wear it and I look at it. It's one of those coats I get a lot of compliments on, or even just a lot of comments on. People could say, well, that's unusual, well, what flowers are those? Yeah, it's a little bit of a talking point, a little bit different, and I do really like that in some of my outerwear, because outerwear tends to be quite dark, quite plain, quite neutral. Sometimes it's fun to have a little bit of a different piece. I think this is going to work really nicely in the spring as well. It does feel a little bit more spring than autumn, but I've been wearing it now already. It is from a brand called Sleeper, who I believe make mostly pyjamas, but for some reason they made this coat, and I'm really glad they did. I actually bought it on the Outnet, so I think it was from a couple of years ago. They don't sell it anymore. They brought it out in a few different colours. I think there's a blue one and a pink one as well, although I like this stone light ecru colour. And yeah, and then it went onto the Outnet, so I bought it on the Outnet. I think I paid around £200 for this, so originally it was about £500, which I definitely would not have paid, especially because this is polyester. It's actually more of like a raincoat material, which is why I don't mind it being polyester, because it's not trying to be a trench like the Suzanne one. It feels more like a raincoat, so actually it feels quite waterproof. I wear this if it is light showers and I don't want something that is going to soak up the moisture, a bit like the Suzanne trench, which definitely isn't waterproof. This one, the rain kind of falls off it, which is quite nice, so I do see it as more of like a rain jacket, so I don't mind it so much that it is polyester, but I definitely wouldn't have paid the ridiculous price tag that it was initially. But on the Outnet it was I think it was about £200. I got 10% off, and then it was meant to come with a belt, and the belt didn't ever appear, and it was the very last one on the Outnet. So I emailed them and said I don't want to send it back, but it didn't come with a belt, and they gave me an additional, I think they gave me an additional 10 or 20% off. So either way, it brought it down to about 170, 180 in the end, and I didn't mind paying that at all for such a special item that I really kind of, it was kind of love at first sight with this coat. As soon as I saw it, I absolutely fell in love with it. So yeah, really pleased with it. Final trench coat I have in my collection is this one from Fabrique. This is a collarless trench. It is this stone colour on the outside, and then it's more of like a camel shade on the inside. It's belted, it's quite oversized, but it's very sleek. It's very kind of sophisticated. It reminds me of something that Brittany Bathgate, I'll mention her again, would wear. It's very pared back, but I do really like it, and I love the colour. I love that it isn't a camel trench. It is that more cool-toned, ecru kind of stony shade. Really like it. It's a similar fabric to the Suede Paris car coat that I showed earlier. It's that wool polyester blend, and I have to say, as much as I don't like buying polyester, I do have to admit that both of these coats wrinkle a lot less than the Suzanne Clyde, which is the cotton viscose. So I do kind of understand why the polyester is included in the composition of some coats, especially trench coats where they're this thinner material. I think wool coats are better off 100% wool because wool doesn't really wrinkle, but something like a trench that is cotton, or this is wool polyester, but it's that thinner, it's a different kind of wool, it's not a felted wool, so I do kind of understand why they include polyester. I'm still not a massive fan of it, but yeah, I get it, and it is quite practical, I have to say. But yeah, this is the final trench coat in the collection. I'll leave this one linked down below along with all of the others that are still available. I think this is still available. Most of these will still be available, but there'll definitely be a few that I bought secondhand or on sale that will no longer be available. The next category of jacket we have are what I would call barn jackets, utility jackets, chore jackets, whatever you want to call them. Really on trend this season again. This one I bought 2 years ago. I bought this in 2022. It's from And Other Stories. They still sell a very similar jacket to this in a much lighter green and probably in a beige as well, but this one is more of like a forest khaki green. I really like this jacket. I have to say, I don't wear it that often, just because I tend to prefer my trench coats and my wool coats, but I never get rid of this jacket because I think it's just such a classic, and the quality is really, really nice. I said this in the original video when I bought this, but this is 100% organic cotton. The lining is cotton. It has this really nice silver zip that feels really high quality. Let me just do it up for you. It's got drawstrings in the middle as well on the inside, so you can actually cinch it at the waist, which is quite nice. You can provide a little bit of definition if you want to, or you can just wear it oversized slouchy. I won't be able to do it now because they're slightly knotted, but you can kind of pull on these drawstrings on the inside and then tie them, and it creates a little bit of definition if you want it. I tend to wear it just slightly baggy, slightly oversized, but it's really nice. I think it's something that never goes out of style. It always looks appropriate. It also always feels really autumnal, especially in this colour. It is really good for dog walks. It's not waterproof, but it's really good for a non-rainy dog walk. It's not too warm. It's good with a scarf. It's good with jeans. It's good with leggings. I like that it's slightly longer for a shorter jacket. This, I think, is a size small, so definitely runs quite oversized. It's got lots of pockets, very practical. It's one of those jackets that just will always stay in my wardrobe, even if I only wear it a few times a year, because it would just always be appropriate, I think, for this season. This second jacket is definitely more of a traditional barn jacket, what I would call a barn jacket. This is from Alex Mill, and this jacket is sold out at the moment. It's in the red colour, but it also comes in brown. It's just a really great colour. I just fell in love with this jacket as soon as I saw it. It does come up slightly darker on camera, no, sorry, slightly lighter on camera than it is in real life. In real life, it's more of like a raspberry, not quite a raspberry, but more of a darker red, and I just absolutely love this. I've worn this so much already. I wear this on dog walks, I wear this on weekends, I wear this with leggings, with jeans, quite casually, but I just love the pop of colour that it gives to an outfit. It's got corduroy cuffs and a corduroy collar as well. I just love this jacket. It's something about it. It's one of those jackets that's really practical for me. It's a waxed jacket, so it is kind of waterproof. And I got caught the other day in this jacket in the most torrential rain that I've ever experienced on a dog walk, and I was absolutely soaking, but actually underneath this jacket I was dry, so it is definitely waterproof because it is that waxed cotton. But yeah, I just love it. It just feels very country. I feel like it's very appropriate for my lifestyle living in England. It feels quite an English jacket. It feels quite Alexa Chung. a little bit like a Barber jacket, similar to that, but I prefer this colour. It's just a little bit more unusual than a traditional green, khaki, navy Barber, especially because I already have the And Other Stories green jacket. I didn't really want another green similar coat, and this just feels different but similar. Similar but different. I'm wearing a size medium. This coat comes up quite big, I would say. I think this is pretty big for a medium, but I like it. It's oversized. It fits jumpers underneath, but I could definitely do a small if I wanted to. This is currently on pre-order. If you're interested in it, you can order it, and it's expected to ship in January, which is ages away, but I definitely think it is worth the wait. I really love it, and I would 100% buy it again if I hadn't already. Finally, let's move on to my wool coats. I have a few of these in different colours. This one is the Suzanne Mederick coat. So this ecru version I bought last winter, I think winter 2023. They don't do this colour anymore, but the Mederick coat still comes in 4 colours. I believe it comes in a pistachio green, which is really nice actually. A very light sand colour, which is kind of a similar light neutral to this, but slightly more beige. And maybe a black and a pink, a couple of other colours, but it's come in a whole host of colours over the years. I have had 3, I still own 2, so the navy Mederick was actually my first purchase, and I did end up selling the navy one purely because I have so many wool coats these days, and I felt like navy was the colour I was reaching for the least. It's a beautiful coat, it's a beautiful colour, there was nothing wrong with it, and it was still in really good condition, so I did decide to sell it and purchase a different coat in a chocolate brown, which was a colour I really wanted to add into my coat wardrobe. But the ecru one I love for a winter white outfit. I love this in winter in all white and all cream, or just as I have on now with blue jeans, lighter shades of brown and taupe. I think it works really nicely. The fit of the Mederick is, I would say, true to size. Some people say that it's huge and it runs really big. I don't necessarily agree. This is a size 10 on me, which is typically the size that I get in coats. Sometimes I'll get a 10, sometimes I'll get a 12. And I would say it's a nice size. You can layer jumpers under this, but it isn't too huge and oversized. You obviously get the wrap belt with it. It's got pockets here. And yeah, I really like it. It's a double-faced wool. It's 100% wool, so it's 2 layers of wool sewn together. So you've got the wool on the outside and the wool on the inside, so it doesn't have a silk or a viscose or a polyester lining, which actually personally I prefer. I know some people really like linings in coats. I find that they drape a little bit more nicely without the lining, so I'm quite happy with it being double-faced. I really like it. I can't say too many bad things about the Mederick. I think for the price point, it is really fair. I think there are not that many coats that are 100% double-faced wool of this quality, this cut, for £370, which is what the Mederick retails for. So if I lost all my coats and I had to start my collection again from scratch, I would definitely go out and purchase a Mederick. I said I owned 2 of them, and this is the other one. This is definitely my favourite, and this is one of my favourite coats in my collection, full stop, because of the colour. It's one of the reasons I ended up selling the navy version, because if I was reaching for a blue, like a cool toned Mederick wrap wool coat, it was going to be this one, just because I love the colour. It's one of those colours I always get compliments on it because it's a little bit different. You see navy all the time, you see black, but you don't see this interesting shade of blue, and I think it works really nicely with dark wash denim, really nicely with white, but really nice with burgundy as well. As an example, this is my Claude bag. This is technically chocolate, not burgundy, but it definitely has that burgundy hue, and I just think the colours pair really nicely together, and obviously I have lots of burgundy in my wardrobe, so this coat gets a lot of wear for me. Same size, size 10, it's really nice. I love the length of this as well. I love that it is on the longer side. It's one of the longer coats I have in my wardrobe, but I do have another wool coat that I got recently that is a hair longer than this one, so I'll show you that one in a second. But yes, this one was in the archives last winter, so I know a few of you bought it at a discounted price, which lucky you if you did, but it may return, you never know. It may return in the archives this winter, so if you do have your eye on it, maybe wait around and see if you can get it then. The ecru one I think came out in 2023, so there is a good chance that that will also be in the 2024 winter archives. Now this next coat is the one that gets compared to the Suzanne Medrick the most frequently. This is the boyfriend coat from the Curated. I bought this at a similar time that I bought the Navy Medrick, which was my first one. I bought them both at the end of 2022. So I'm coming up to 2 years of wear of this coat now, and I have to say, this is by far the most premium feeling coat in my collection, full stop. I have worn this quite a lot over the last 2 years, and it definitely feels as good as new. There are no marks, there's no bobbling, there's no pilling, there are no signs of wear on this coat, and you can definitely tell that it is a little bit more premium than the Suzanne Medricks, although those are still in really, really good condition. I do feel like the wool just feels a little bit more worn. I mean, I'm talking very minor, it still feels immaculate, they still feel basically new, but they just feel like, I don't know, there's something about them that maybe like the fluff, the wool is coming off ever so slightly, whereas with this one it just feels as soft and as luxurious as the day I bought it, and it is more expensive than the Medrick. So I will say it does feel more premium, but it is more premium. Now the price of these, the price of all of the Curated coats has gone up, I think quite considerably since I bought this one, because I can't for the life of me remember how much I paid for this coat, but I know it wasn't as much as it is on the website now. I was actually kind of shocked when I saw the price of this coat recently on the website. So currently this retails for £510 in the UK, which is really, really expensive. I can't remember what I paid, but I think it was about 400. It might have been a little bit more, a little bit less, but it was definitely almost comparable to the Medrick price. I think it was slightly more expensive, maybe like £420, something like that, but it was definitely about £100 cheaper than it is now. So that's something to bear in mind. They have gone up, and I know the Curated say that their prices go up every year with the rise in inflation, so understandably so. But yeah, it is an expensive coat, especially nowadays. However, it does have 30% cashmere in it, whereas the Medrick is obviously 100% wool. This is 70% wool, 30% cashmere. So it does feel softer to the touch. There is no denying it. It isn't even comparable really. This one feels like a wool, but this one definitely, you can feel that cashmere in it. It is noticeably softer. And as I said, it doesn't seem to wear as quickly either, because it doesn't have any signs of wear at all. If you're familiar with the Curated, you'll know they do quite a few different coat styles now, especially this year. They have a couple of new styles. I've seen some really nice ones actually. I think they've got one called the Parisian coat, which comes in burgundy. This is one of their older styles. It's the boyfriend coat, so it's designed to fit a little bit oversized. I wanted to go for this one over their classic coat. Their classic coat to me is a little bit too classic for my style. I like something more oversized and more casual feeling, whereas the classic coat felt a little bit dressier because it was smaller and a little bit shorter as well. This one has wider sleeves, so the sleeves are quite noticeably quite wide. They're actually really good if you are wearing a very thick jumper underneath and you need a little bit more room in the sleeve. This coat is great for that. But equally, even if you've got a thinner jumper underneath, you know, they just hang a little bit wider. You can roll them as well if you want to. Sometimes if I don't want them as in my way, I will roll them up slightly. I'm doing a terrible job at the moment, but you get the idea. You can kind of roll them to make them a little bit shorter, and they just sit a little bit higher on the arm so they don't quite get in the way as much. It's a very similar style to the Medrick otherwise. I would say it's a similar length, maybe a hair shorter. It's also got the pockets here at the front. The main difference is the belt isn't attached to the coat. Now they do give you fabric to make your own belt loops, so you can have belt loops exactly in the position for your height that you require. I'm a little bit lazy and I've never actually had them attached because I would have to get someone to do that for me. So I tend to just carry the belt separately, and to be honest, most of the time I prefer to wear this coat without the belt. I think because it's a little bit more oversized, there's a little bit more fabric. It's not quite as flattering done up, but obviously in the depths of winter I will do it up to keep myself warm. But in the kind of weather we have now, where it's not really that cold, I will probably just wear it like this, wear it open, and I find that perfect for October, November weather before it gets really chilly. I have thought about selling this coat before, even though I absolutely love it, and again, it is the softest coat I own. I'm not sure about the camel colour on me, but I'm kind of just embracing it. I've decided not to sell it, especially because they have risen in price so much, so I just feel like I would regret it and want to rebuy it, albeit in a different colour. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep this, and I do feel like a camel coat is a classic, even if it doesn't perfectly suit my skin tone. But yes, I would definitely recommend the curated coats, and I would also say last year they did do a Black Friday discount on some of their coat styles, not all of them, I know, but they did have 30% off on some of their coats. So because we are getting to that time of year, if you do want to purchase and invest in a curated coat, especially because they've gone up so much in price, I would hang on and wait until Black Friday to see if they do any discounts this year. Because 30% off would be a huge discount if they do it on their coats. But yeah, I would highly recommend them either way. I still have my eye on the chocolate melange colourway from the curated. I have wanted it for so long, a couple of years now, and I've never quite, especially with the price increases, I've never quite been able to justify it, although I am eyeing one on Vinted at the moment, which I may end up buying, I don't know. But there is one on Vinted if you want to get there first. If you're in the UK and you would like, I think it's the London coat, so it's a slightly different design in the chocolate melange colour. Anyway, the curated camel coat. Love it, one of my favourites. Definitely the most premium feeling, the most expensive, the most high quality, and the only one I think that has any proportion of cashmere in it. This is the final coat of the video, and actually the most recent coat in my collection. This one is a second-hand find. I actually can't quite believe I found this second-hand in this good condition. I think this was worn once or twice. I bought this on Vestiaire Collective. It's from Totem. I've wanted a Totem coat, actually not this one, for a couple of years. I think it was on my 2024 wish list, or maybe it was on my luxury or dream wardrobe wish list, I can't remember, but it was a slightly different design but in the same colour. And then I ended up seeing this one on Vestiaire Collective for, it was about £200, which is kind of crazy. So I paid less for this than I did for the curated and for the Mederick coats, considerably less. And this is the most expensive coat technically in my collection, even though I feel like the curated one feels a little bit more premium because it has the cashmere in it. This is just 100% wool. This retails for the most, being Totem. I think it's around 800 to 900, it might even be £1,000 new, and as I said, I bought this for £200. This is an oversized, this is the most oversized wool coat that I have. It has quite long sleeves. They actually have this slit in them, so you get a little bit more movement, even though the sleeves are a little bit long. You can also roll them up similar to the curated if you want them to finish on your arm a little bit higher. I love this oversized fit. This was specifically what I was looking for because I have 3 wrap coats now. I didn't want another tie waist wrap wool coat. I wanted something a little bit different. So this just has the buttons down both sides. It doesn't have a belt with it, and it is longer than all of the others as well. It's almost ankle length, not quite ankle length, but it is slightly longer than the other wool coats I have. It's in this really beautiful colour. I really wanted this dark brown as well. This is called Espresso, which is exactly what the colour is. It's the colour of espresso coffee beans. So it's like that really, really rich dark brown. Could almost appear black in some light, but it is actually brown. And what I really like about that is that it kind of works in place of a black coat in my wardrobe. I don't really want a black coat because I find them a little bit harsh, but sometimes you want a really dark, almost black coat to go with an outfit, and this just does that for me. Because it is dark brown, it feels ever so slightly softer than a true black would, but it basically works the same in outfits as a true black coat. I got this in a size 10, it's an EU 38, and it fits just oversized, slouchy. I love it. It's one of my favourites, and when I did my coat video yesterday on Instagram and shorts, a lot of you said this was your favourite, and I do think the silhouette of this just feels premium. It feels expensive. Obviously it's meant to be expensive, but I got it for a real steal. So yeah, really chuffed with this one. I feel like I'm going to get so much wear out of this one this autumn winter, and I just love that I now have this dark chocolate brown colour, because previously obviously I only had the camel, which is a lot warmer and a lot lighter, and I actually think this colour suits my wardrobe. a little bit more, but it's still not quite as heavy. And that is it for today's video. We made it through all 12 coats in my collection. Hopefully you are still here watching, although I wouldn't exactly blame you if you weren't, because I imagine this video has been really long. I really hope it was useful if you're planning to purchase any of the coats here today, or if you're looking for any of these coats vintage or secondhand, or looking at similar options or ways to style. Hopefully this video has been fun to watch. Let me know down below which of the coats was your favourite, or which is your favourite coat in your collection, or if you only have one, which coat do you own and why do you love it? I would love to know as always. I would love to chat to you in the comments down below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram if you have Instagram, because I'm posting daily outfit inspiration over there. I just posted a reel today with 12 autumnal outfit ideas. If you're struggling for outfit inspo, you're struggling to get inspired, then it would really be helpful for you to follow me over there. If you don't have Instagram, I will be posting lots of the content on shorts as well, so make sure you watch my shorts regularly because there will be daily uploads there as well. If you would like to watch another long form video from me, then I will leave some on screen that you may enjoy watching next. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!